you put one on?
I put the action.
You put the action on?
I put the update.
Okay. Mr. Schuering, you want to address the update?
Sure. We were in court last Thursday, and we filed applications for substitution of judges to get all cases in front of one judge. That's the most economical and efficient way to dispose of them, is if they're all in one judge. We can't have half of them with, or part of them with Judge Cadigan and part of them down here. We have yet to have the opportunity to put on a defense in the last three. We have one where the judges ordered us to disclose the records, which we did. And now we'll simply wait to see what the next filing from the other side will be on the three that we have had moved to Sangamon County. Talked with the mayor and the clerk after the last court appearance. Consistent with the suggestion that's been made by several of you, I'm formulating a settlement proposal that I'll discuss with the mayor and see if we can make a settlement proposal to resolve all 5 cases at the same time.
So there are 5 more outstanding cases?
Not with watchdogs. There's 3 with watchdogs, Thomas and Bode.
Okay. And of those 5, one of those is not the one that has already been a judgment on?
There is no judgment on any.
We had to send records. The one
That
that
was all.
happened with Judge Cadigan.
Right.
And it was found that we needed to send records to...
No, that is not what the judge found.
Okay, please explain what the judge found.
What the judge
'Cause I haven't
found
seen it.
was, at that point, he made a ruling with respect to the denial that we had provided with respect to the commercial purpose. And said that we didn't have a basis to withhold the records, and he ordered us to release the records, which we did. Okay, that's all he did. He didn't enter a judgment. He refused to enter a judgment on several other points relating to their lawsuit that they had raised. Specifically that the watchdogs were a member of the news media and that they were not for profit. He wouldn't make a ruling on either of those cases, either of those issues.
Right. But that those issues were basically a moot point because we had to send the records anyway.
No, they're not a moot point because he was wrong on the law.
Okay.
The judge
But we
was-
still had to send the
We
records.
sent the records.
And I guess that goes into the next piece here is why wouldn't we then, in order to save ourselves, no offense, but your cost, your fees, and the fees of the attorney.
Because they have no interest in settling these cases, and you know exactly why.
Absolutely, that's not correct.
Well, it is correct, because what has kept this from being a complete disclosure of the records are records that don't exist from 2 alleged meetings that didn't occur that only you seem to be concerned about.
I have not sued the city for anything. However, we did vote last year, last April, unanimously, that we would send all records to whomever has requested FOIA records. It's been done now after we went to court
No.
and had to pay all this
You don't-
money. So I think that, based on...
The mistake that was made, you were warned last April. If you waive the fees, you will live with this problem for 4 years.
I don't think
You were
that's
warned.
correct. I think that if we sent the requested documents, this would all go away.
It will not.
I think it will.
Well, it will not.
I think you're wrong. So,
I am quite confident that I am not, because I'm already having fee and damage demands made on me. So I am quite confident that these are not going away.
and as for every time we have to go to court or pay somebody to respond, we're spending more money. Why don't we just send it, and if we have to pay damages, figure
Because
out what we
if
owe
we
and be
concede,
done.
if we concede, okay, those records, then we have conceded that if there was a withholding, which there was not, okay, that it was willful. It is only on that basis that they get fees, is if they can show it was willful. We had a lawful basis for withholding records in 2 of them. The first one and Lisa Thomas. We have yet to put on our affirmative defense, and I'm not going to discuss it in public session, on the other 3.
It just seems a waste of taxpayers' money to keep
The waste of taxpayers' money
fighting.
is what the watchdogs are attempting to do to the community. That's what the waste of taxpayers' money is. And any
You might- that's your stand.
suggestion,
However-
any suggestion
Uh-huh.
that they are anything other than political terrorists is just absurd.
Well,
They're not trusted advisors to anyone.
and I appreciate your opinion. I don't agree with your opinion. However, I think that someone has requested documents and we're not giving them to them. And I
You
really
don't
feel
know-
if we
you
gave them
don't
the
know-
documents, this would
you
go away.
absolutely do not know what you are talking about, because we have not presented our defenses in those other 3 cases. You simply do not know. Now, if you're doing their bidding, please just say so.
I am not doing their bidding, I'm doing the
Sure looks
city's
like it.
bidding. No, sir, I'm doing the
No, ma'am.
city's bidding.
I am doing the city's bidding,
with-
and I'm
by
doing my best to
dragging
walk
out
you away from
expenses,
this without
expenses,
having to pay money.
expenses.
But it's
Are your
very
fees-
difficult to do.
Are you waiving your fees?
No, I'm not.
Then we are spending a lot of city money to fight something that I think we're gonna lose in the end.
Well, if you're trusting the advice of Mr. Kraft and Mr.
I'm trusting the advice of the
Allen?
Illinois law that says if somebody's requested documents, we have to turn them over.
No, it's not quite that simple.
Okay. Will you explain it in executive session, please? Because I do not understand.
I am not going to discuss the settlement proposal that we are going to make at any meeting where you are present. And if the council wants to fire me, they can fire me.
That'd be a good idea.
You're supposed to be here for the council and the people.
I am.
No,
I am.
she's part of the
No,
council.
I
I'm
am.
part of the council. They're
My
part of the
job
council.
is to represent the Freedom of
Please.
Information Act officer, and that is Carla.
Attorney General.
Ladies, any other questions? Okay. Moving on, we're going to go to